We'll start with the multi-level marketing, an example case of a blockchain smart contract. The problem statement is like this. A product manufacturing company wants to make use of blockchain technology for their multi-level marketing. The structure of multi-level marketing is as follows. Anyone, see here, look, it is anyone who is interested in multi-level marketing should first need to get approval from company's marketing manager and can start marketing franchise. Company has fixed 500Y as franchise registration fee. The franchise can build a small group of daily marketing purpose. To this end, franchise can join members in that group. Also, the approved group members can also join anyone in it. For this, new member need to pay 100Y as membership fee. If the new joiner is joined the group through franchise, that means the member had directly approached the franchise and joined as a member, then 100% membership fee is credited to the franchise account. If the member have joined in the franchise through some other member, then 30% of the membership fee will be credited to the franchise and the remaining 70% to the group member who joined that new member. The same share is applicable on the profit of products sold by members. Further, to have control over the group, the maximum size of the group is fixed to 25. That means a group can have at most 25 members. I hope you understood this particular multi-level marketing structure. To have more understanding of this multi-level marketing structure, I should not take the name of any company. You might have seen in your localities, especially in the residential areas, they may be asking you to purchase the products of a particular company. That company may not be available in the products may not be available in any supermarket or nearby stores. They themselves will give you the products and will ask you to join in that particular marketing. I hope you might have seen this kind of structure in the nearby localities, especially in the residential localities you might have seen. You can assume the same kind of marketing structure is there in this particular problem statement. Basically, whenever you design any problem statement, we will not directly mention that 500 Ys will be given and 100 Ys will be given. Here Y is a denomination that is belong to the Ethereum blockchain. But there will be some amount for the registration of franchise, and there may be some registration for some amount for registration of the membership. Maybe they may choose the Ethereum as the blockchain for having this. So we cannot assume this in the first moment itself, but anyhow, currently we are discussing the Solidity programming and development of smart contracts in Solidity programming language, which is especially used for designing smart contracts for the Ethereum blockchain. That is the reason directly I have mentioned these values. But in general, whenever you write any problem statement, you no need to mention this kind of things. You may mention in your local denominations like rupees or some other thing, that you may map it to the blockchain framework which supports the cryptocurrencies, and you may map that amount to the cryptocurrency amount, and you can go forward in developing the smart contracts. I hope by this time you got an idea of how this multi-level marketing works. And another example of multi-level marketing, it is not a multi-level marketing, it is a kind of a fund collection kind of thing and fund distribution kind of thing. Like especially it will happen in the residential areas like chits. Somebody will start the chits and will collect the amount, and the rest of the transactions will go on. In this, there is no centralized authority. Only the chits, the one who will start it and who will pay the amount to the chits and who will join in that as a group, and they only be knowing the who is paying how much amount, and only the chits organizer may be knowing who is paying that amount. No other person will be knowing, okay, how much the amount was deposited and how much the things was happened. So this is a very closed group where the interactions will happen. So here there is no involvement of the third party in this kind of things. So you can also say this is also a kind of a multi-level marketing or multi-level kind of structure. In this, each member can join other members also. Like in a chits, the one who is joining in the chits may also bring some other person and can make the part of that particular event. So this kind of things may also happen. So these are the two examples which are very nearby and which is regularly happening in our daily life that can be related to the multi-level marketing kind of thing. Now we will move on to the further discussion. By understanding this problem statement, now we will move on to the selection of blockchain. The theory related to the selection of blockchain already has been discussed. But we will use the same concepts here for classifying and choosing what sort of blockchain is required for our action. Anyhow, with the figures that I have mentioned here, like 500Y, 100Y, etc., one can understand that this is going to be implemented on Ethereum blockchain. But in Ethereum blockchain also, what sort of category or what type of blockchain category to be used, that one must know. Here starting of the things, then cannot rely on trusted third party. If it is S, then we can go for the next checking. That is data to be stored and database is needed? If the database is needed and data to be stored, then we'll go for the next condition checking. Are multiple writers exist? If it is S, then writers are unknown and untrusted and have conflict of interest. Then we'll go to the other condition check. But if you look at this is the one which is happening in the very closed environment. So you cannot rely on the trusted third party. It is only the trust between the organizer and the member. So hence you cannot rely on the trusted third party. So it is S. So we can go to the other thing, like is data to be stored or database is needed? Obviously in this we require the data to be stored. So here the explanation, if you look at from the given case, it can be understood that the marketing process is happening in a closed environment. It means this marketing group does not require third party to monitor. Therefore, this particular condition become S. So hence this become S. So we are moving on to the next condition. Each participant in the network need to have accountability of the amount they paid. Company and franchise both need to keep track of the fee that they have received. These transactions must be recorded for future references for which database is needed. So hence the next condition is the database is needed. So that is the reason the next condition is also true. So S. Now we are moving on to checking for the next condition. The marketing manager, franchise owner and members of the participants who write onto the ledger. So onto the ledger, who will write here? The marketing manager, franchise owner and the member are the participants who will write onto the ledger. That means who will perform some writing of the transactions onto the ledger. In general, the company issue franchise and franchise in turn maintain the groups. So in this here are multiple writers exist. Obviously the multiple writers exist who are the multiple writers? Marketing manager, franchise owner, that is the one who got the franchise, then the one who have this particular thing, that is participant, the group member who will write onto the ledger. So therefore here multiple writers exist. Whether these writers are unknown to each other and do have there any conflict of interest, that is the next condition to be checked after the multiple writers exist or not is checked. Now, in general, the company issue franchise. The company has a company, that is the marketing manager will only approve the franchise. After approving of the franchise, what they will do is, and the franchise will maintain the groups. Here company is not maintaining the group, the franchise are maintaining the groups for marketing purpose. Here group member are no way related to the company, and it is not the choice of the member to, it is the choice of the member to move from one franchise to other franchise. For example, a member is related to a franchise in one locality. Maybe because of his job or any other reason, he might have went to other locality. There also the same kind of chain marketing is happening. Then he may join in other franchise. That is his wish. Or the member itself can start his own franchise or start his or her own franchise, because anyone who is interested in multi-level marketing, here the normal member may also be interested in starting their own franchise. So obviously here we cannot say that the group member will only fix to a franchise, but he may also start his own franchise. There are possibilities are there. So to this end, the participants in the network have conflict of interest and they are completely unknown. Because if I bring one person from outside, the franchise has nothing to do with that person, because he don't know who is that person. Because of the known person which is already joined in the group, they will accept that person. Okay, so obviously it is a kind of unknown activity, so the person is completely unknown. Since the entire activity is happening in the closed environment, and to maintain trust in the system, only registered participants should have access to the transactions. So that is the reason the next condition to be checked is writers are unknown. Obviously writers are unknown. Untrusted, obviously untrusted. And have conflict of interest, obviously they have conflict of interest. In these three cases, the condition is true, so hence we are moving on to the next condition to be checked. But in the first four conditions, we have not encountered no, that is false. So that is the reason we require a blockchain for this case. So here, whenever in any one of these conditions, our conditions are failed, then the blockchain is not required. But we have come across these four stages so that we can decide that blockchain is required, and we are moving on to the next stage. Access control not required. So obviously access control is required. The reason is to this end the participants in the network have conflict of interest and they have complete, okay, they are unknown. Since the entire activity is happening in a closed environment, and to maintain trust in the system, only registered participants should have access to the transactions. It is possible when the transactions are private. Further, a shared ledger is need to keep track of the updated transaction made by member will be approved by franchise. So the member will be approved by the franchise. So the access control is franchise is greater than member, and the request for the franchise will be approved by the marketing manager. So the company is greater than the franchise. So here access control is required. A member cannot directly access the marketing, that is company. They have to approach the franchise, and franchise will approach the marketing. So obviously here access control is required. So this condition is true. So hence the access control is required. Obviously, we are moving on to the next condition to be checked. Anyhow, we have decided that since it is it is happening in the closed environment, and to maintain trust in the system, only the registered participants should have the access to the transactions. So obviously, the transaction should not be made public. So if it is made public, then we'll go to the other condition. Since it is here, the condition was no. That is, are transactions public? No, transaction should not be public. So that is the reason we are going to the next condition to be checked. Is multi-party consensus required? Now we'll move on to this. That the transactions made by transactions made by member will be approved by franchise, and request for franchise will be approved by the marketing manager. In both the approvals, only one authority is responsible for action, either franchise person or the manager. Here there is no multiple persons responsible for one action. For an action, only one person is responsible. So here, is multi-party consensus required? Not required. Only one person has to approve the transaction. Of the for example, if a member has done the transaction, then franchise has to approve it. If anyone has requested for the franchise approval, then marketing manager has to approve it. Here only two things are there, and the two things are completely different. One is for the approval of the franchise, another is joining of a member. So these are the two different activities, but in these two different activities, only one person is authoritative to do this particular transaction. So here there is no multi-party required. So since there is no multi-party required, so what is the suitable blockchain to implement is the private blockchain. So in both the approvals, only one authority is responsible for action. To this end, the suitable blockchain for application development in this case is a private blockchain. So this is the way how we are supposed to perform the analysis, and we come to a conclusion that what is the suitable blockchain required for given case.